him is to cross through the gate of deliverance called emptiness. 6. Sutra. Disgust for the 5 objects of desire. Not producing even the idea of desire. Sastra. See above. Here the Buddha would say, when one knows that the nature of the mind is deceptive and unreal, one no longer produces even the idea of desire, and all the more so, one no longer experiences the 5 objects of desire. 7. Sutra. Sastra. See what has been said above about the notion of displeasure in regard to the world. Here the Buddha wants to talk about the fruit of maturation resulting from disgust for the world, namely, the gate of deliverance called wishlessness. 8. Sutra. The rejection of everything exists. Not holding either inner dharmas or outer dharmas. Sastra. See above. 9. Sutra. The mind without dullness. The bodhisattva's mind does not remain on duality levels of consciousness. Sastra. We have already spoken about this above several times. The bodhisattva is informed about the nature of this non-slackening and this absence of fear and does not remain on twofold levels of consciousness. On these twofold planes of consciousness, in the sense that he does not produce visual consciousness in regard to the eye and visibles, and so on up to. In regard to the mind and dharmas, he does not produce mental consciousness. The bodhisattva remains in the non-duality of subject and object. Determining that the objects of the 6 consciousnesses are false and deceptive, he makes the great vow to lead beings to remain in non-duality and to become separated from the 6 consciousnesses. 10. Sutra. Disdain for everything. The bodhisattva does not think about anything. These 10 dharmas must not be abandoned by the bodhisattva MAHÀYANA in the 4th ground. Sastra. There are many reasons for this disdain for everything. But here the main one is that the bodhisattva, knowing the absolute emptiness of all dharmas, no longer thinks about these dharmas and eliminates any grasping at characteristics. This is why he does not expect any gratitude from those who are indebted to him and does not feel any pride in his own generosity. In this way he completely fulfills the pure perfection of generosity. Bhumi 5. 1. Sutra. Furthermore, O Subhuti, the bodhisattva MAHÀYANA in the 5th bhumi must avoid 12 dharmas. What are these 12? 1. Avoiding the company of lay people. In his monastic existences, the bodhisattva passes from Buddha field to Buddha field, each time goes forth from home, shaves his head and puts on the ochre robe. This is his way of avoiding the company of lay people. Sastra. In order to embrace the path, the yogin goes forth from home. If he continued to keep company with lay people, nothing would be changed in his former way of life. This is why the yogin first seeks to save himself and then to save others. If he wanted to save others before saving himself, he would be like the man who, not knowing how to swim, wants to save a drowning person. He would be swept away along with the drowning person. By avoiding being with lay people, the bodhisattva is able to accumulate the pure qualities. Recollecting the Buddha intensely, he transforms his body, goes into the Buddha fields. Leaves home, shaves his head and puts on the yellow robe. Why? Because he always takes pleasure in the monastic condition and abhors meeting with lay people. 2. Sutra. Avoiding the company of nuns. The bodhisattva does not stay near a nun even for as little time as a fingersnap, and he does not bemoan the fact. Sastra. See the 1st chapter. Question. The bodhisattva considers all beings with equanimity. Why does he not stay near a nun? Answer. This bodhisattva is not yet non-regressing and has not yet destroyed all the impurities, but he has already accumulated qualities and is loved by men. This is why he does not stay near women. Besides, he wants to avoid being slandered, for whoever slanders him would fall into hell. 3. Sutra. Avoiding being envious of others' families. The bodhisattva should make the following reflection. I must make others happy, and if those people help me in making this happiness, I do not have to feel jealous. Sastra. The bodhisattva makes the following reflection. I have left my own family without greed or regret. Why would I have greed and envy towards the families of others? It is a rule for the bodhisattvas to lead all beings to find happiness. Why feel greed and envy for them? Because of merits from the previous lives, these beings are enjoying some comfort in the present lifetime and thus are making offerings to me. Why would I be jealous of them and envy them? 4. Sutra. Avoiding meeting places. The bodhisattva should not go to meeting places where there are sravakas or pratyeka Buddhas and where comments would be made about them. Sastra. These useless conversations are idle speech intended to dissipate sadness in one's own mind and in that of others. They tell stories about palaces or thieves, they speak about the sea or the mountains, trees, plants, jewels, foreign kingdoms or other similar things. These conversations are of no use to merits, of no use to body. The bodhisattva has pity for beings who have fallen into the fire of impermanence. I want to save them, he says. How would I sit calmly chatting idly about useless things? In the case of a fire, people rush about. How would I remain inwardly calm holding forth on something else? Here the Buddha is saying that talking about things concerning the Sravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas is already a useless conversation. What then could be said of talking about something even more useless? 5. Sutra. Avoiding maliciousness. He does not give free rein to the mind of malice, to the mind of harmfulness, to the mind of hostility. Sastra. In the mind there first arises a feeling of maliciousness which is as yet vague. The maliciousness increases, becomes specific, and then one strikes with a stick or an axe. This is a feeling of harmfulness. Insult and gossip are feelings of quarrelsomeness. Killing, torture, the stick and fetters come from a feeling of hostility. In his great loving kindness and great compassion for beings, the bodhisattva does not experience these feelings. He always curbs these bad thoughts and prevents them from having access. 7. Sutra. Avoiding exaltation of the self. Not taking extreme dharmas into consideration. Sastra. The bodhisattva sees neither inner nor outer dharmas, namely the 5 aggregates assumed to be me, and the 5 aggregates not assumed to be me. 8. Sutra. Avoiding the 10 bad paths of action. Actually, these 10 bad paths of action are an obstacle to the Noble Eightfold Path and even more so to supreme complete enlightenment. Sastra. In these 10 bad paths of action, the bodhisattva sees multiple causes and conditions of wrongdoings, as has been said above. In the present passage, the Buddha makes it known that the 10 bad paths of actions already destroy the lesser vehicle and all the more so the greater vehicle. 9. Sutra.